Ladies and gentlemen, saints of the living God today, I want to take you somewhere. I want to take you to a place in Scripture that many of us know by heart, but few of us have unpacked with power. I'm talking about Psalm 23, and I want to warn you right now what it reveals will shock you, not because it's new, but because when you see it with new eyes, it'll change everything. Let's go there. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Right out the gate, David drops a bombshell. He says the Lord not a friend, not a boss, not a government, not a paycheck. The Lord is my shepherd. That means he owns me, he watches over me, he walks with me, and if the Lord is my shepherd, then everything else is just background noise. That means no matter what's lacking in your bank account, your marriage, your job, you shall not want. That's not a hope. That's a promise. But wait, we're just getting started. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. Did you catch that? He makes me lie down. Why? Because sometimes we're too busy hustling in barren fields, chasing things that were never meant to feed us. So God will make you stop. He will interrupt your schedule. He'll cancel your plans to give you peace you didn't even know you needed. See, you thought the delay was punishment. No, it was provision. That detour, green pasture, that quiet place, still waters, that breakdown, your breakthrough. But hold on, because now it gets personal. He restores my soul. Oh yes, you can have a full schedule and an empty soul. You can be surrounded by people and still be alone on the inside. But when your soul is tired, when life has drained the very breath from your bones, he restores it. That word restore means he puts it back together, like a master craftsman, like a surgeon who knows every inch of your heart. God doesn't throw broken things away. He specializes in soul restoration. But now we get to the part that most people miss. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Here's the shocker. God never promised to keep you out of the valley. He promised to walk with you through it. See, some of us are trying to rebuke valleys God has designed to reveal his presence. You're praying away the very path where he wants to show you he's enough. Why don't I fear in the valley? Because you are with me. Listen, when God is with you, demons tremble, hell gets nervous, and your enemies start backing up. His presence doesn't prevent problems, but it gives you peace in the middle of them. And peace in the middle is greater than comfort at the edge. But God doesn't stop there. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Now this right here will blow your mind. God doesn't just defeat your enemies. He invites them to dinner. While they're plotting your downfall, he's preparing your upgrade. He's cooking up blessings while your haters watch from the sidelines, and you're not just surviving. You're feasting, not after the battle, in the middle of it, and then, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Not maybe. Not sometimes. Surely, you've got two bodyguards, goodness and mercy. They've got your back when you can't see your way forward. They chase you down with blessings you didn't earn and favor you didn't deserve. And then David ends it with, "And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." He's not just talking about church on Sunday. He's talking about presence, eternal, unshakable, never-ending presence. The kind of presence where storms lose their power, where fear loses its grip, where purpose takes over and destiny begins. So let me tell you something, friend. Psalm 23 isn't just poetry. It's a weapon. It's a promise. It's a revelation of a God who provides, protects, restores, walks with you, blesses you in public, and guarantees his presence every step of the way. That's what Psalm 23 reveals, and yes, it will shock you, because once you know who your shepherd is, you stop living like a sheep in panic and start walking like a child of the King. God bless you. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. That is not a suggestion. That's not a wish. It's a declaration, a bold statement of truth. David, who wrote these words, knew what it meant to be a shepherd. He had spent years tending sheep on hillsides, guiding them, protecting them, providing for them, and laying down his life for them. So when David calls the Lord his shepherd, he's speaking from experience. He's saying, I know what it means to be a sheep under care, and I know what it looks like when the one who cares for me lacks nothing. This single sentence demolishes the mindset of scarcity. It crushes fear, insecurity, and anxiety. Because when the Lord is your shepherd, you're no longer depending on your own ability to provide, protect, or figure things out. You're shifting the weight of your life off of your shoulders and placing it onto the strong, capable shoulders of the one who made heaven and earth. That changes everything. It means you don't have to live chasing things because what you need, your shepherd already has, and he's already committed to getting it to you. I shall not want doesn't mean life will be problem-free. It means there will be no lack of provision in the midst of those problems. It means you will always have what you need when you need it. God's timing may not match yours, but his provision is always perfect. He supplies peace when the storm hits. He gives clarity when confusion tries to take over. He pours out joy when sorrow threatens to steal your song. You don't have to scramble, panic, or beg. You're not out here trying to survive like an orphan. You belong to the shepherd, and he takes care of his own. When a shepherd watches over his flock, he takes personal responsibility for their well-being. The sheep don't worry about finding grass or water. They don't worry about wolves. They follow. They trust. That's the position of the believer, not striving, but trusting. Not hustling in fear, but walking in faith. The provision isn't in the striving. It's in the following. If the shepherd is moving, you move. If he says rest, you rest. And if you stay close to him, you'll always have access to what you need. That's why David says, I shall not want. He understood that provision isn't a place, it's a person. We live in a culture that teaches us to fear lack. Fear of not having enough money, time, energy, influence, approval. But David flips that. He says, no, I lack nothing, I shall not want. That's not pride, that's positioning. He's not relying on himself, he's resting in who his shepherd is. Too many people are carrying the burden of provision on their own backs. They think if they stop pushing, the world will fall apart. But the shepherd never asked you to carry what he already finished. He's not waiting on your strength, he's waiting on your surrender. Provision is not the result of manipulation, panic, or performance. It's the fruit of connection. Stay connected to the shepherd, and you'll never be disconnected from supply. Sheep don't chart the course, they follow the one who leads. That's why peace follows people who trust in the shepherd. They know they're covered. They know they're protected. They know they're not wandering, they're being led. When you really get this revelation, It shakes off the chains of worry. You start walking through life with a calm assurance, not because of what you have, but because of who you belong to. The Lord is my shepherd. That's covenant talk. That's relational language. It's not just that he is asterisk shepherd. It's that he is my asterisk shepherd. And because he is, lack is no longer my master. Fear doesn't get the final word. Stress doesn't control my sleep. The economy doesn't determine my peace. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. These words are rich with layers, and if you move too quickly, you'll miss the power in the pause. Notice what the shepherd does here. He doesn't ask. He doesn't suggest. He makes you lie down. That means there are times in your life when God will lovingly interrupt your momentum, slow your pace, and put a stop to your striving, because he knows that rest is not just a luxury. It's a necessity. When you belong to the shepherd, he's not just concerned with your activity. He's deeply invested in your health. Not just your physical health, but your emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. We often resist rest. We equate busyness with productivity and productivity with value. In a culture that glorifies the grind and praises the hustle, rest can feel like weakness. But the shepherd knows what we need even when we don't know how to ask for it. So when the pace gets unsustainable and the soul gets weary, he steps in not to punish, but to protect. He makes you lie down. That means you don't always choose it willingly. Sometimes he'll close doors, cancel plans, or remove options that were draining you. It may look like a setback, but it's actually an act of love. He's leading you to green pastures, places of renewal and nourishment that you wouldn't have found on your own. Green pastures don't represent a barren place. They represent abundance. That's not a season of less. That's a season of better. And yet, he doesn't just lead you anywhere. He leads you to the right pasture, the right environment for your recovery. God is strategic with your rest. When he places you somewhere to recover, he surrounds you with the provision to match the process. There's no healing without nourishment, and green pastures symbolize his divine provision for your body and soul. And then the verse says, he leads me beside still waters. There's something about that phrase that speaks to the chaos in our world. We're used to turbulence, to rushing, to noise. But the waters God leads us to are not crashing, they're calm. Still waters speak of peace, the kind of peace that quiets your heart, the kind of peace that stills your thoughts. He's not just giving you rest for your body, he's calming your spirit. He's resetting your rhythm, and notice again, he leads. That means you don't create peace, you follow it. Still waters also represent clarity. When the waters are still, you can see your reflection. You gain perspective. The shepherd leads you to a place where your vision clears up, your thoughts align, and you remember who you are. It's hard to see clearly when you're running on fumes. That's why he slows you down. He's not being cruel. He's being kind. The stillness is where he begins to reveal direction, remind you of your identity, and restore your ability to hear his voice. Too often we keep going until we crash, until life forces us to stop. But the shepherd is proactive. He knows what exhaustion looks like before it shows up. He knows the signs of burnout before the flames appear. So he calls you to lie down before you collapse. He leads you to waters of peace before the storm within becomes visible outside. This is how deeply the shepherd loves his sheep. He doesn't wait until it's too late. There's also a humility in letting him lead. You have to release control. You have to let go of the need to be in charge of everything. When he says rest, your answer isn't negotiation, it's obedience. The green pasture may not look impressive to others, but it holds everything you need. The still waters may not be flashy, but they'll restore what the world tried to strip from you. Rest is not passive. It's a strategic move in the hands of a wise shepherd. He restores my soul. These 4 words carry the weight of divine intention, divine action, and divine compassion. The soul is the deepest part of who you are. It's where your emotions live, where your thoughts swirl, where your identity is shaped. Life doesn't just attack your body or your circumstances. It goes after your soul. Disappointments, betrayals, trauma, anxiety, stress, guilt, shame. These are not just external experiences. They leave marks on your soul. They weigh you down in places nobody else can see. But the shepherd does. He sees when your smile is hiding sorrow. He sees when your confidence is covering up exhaustion. He sees when you're functioning on the outside but falling apart on the inside. He restores my soul. The word restore in the original language means to return something to its original place or state. It's a reset, a divine reset. He doesn't just patch you up. He brings you back to who you were before the world wounded you. This restoration isn't just cosmetic. It's not surface level. It's a deep internal renewal. Only God can go into the places time, trauma, and failure have damaged and bring healing that actually lasts. You can't restore your own soul. No amount of self-help, no relationship, no achievement, no vacation, no success can touch that depth. Soul restoration comes from the shepherd alone. This means there are moments when you may not even realize how fragmented you've become until he steps in and starts doing the work. You thought the problem was your job, or your schedule, or your relationships, but what you really needed was soul work. You needed God to deal with the roots. When he restores your soul, he pulls up lies you've believed. He detoxes your mind from toxic patterns. He untangles you from false identities you've carried for years. He reaches into the depths of confusion and brings clarity. Into the fog of depression, he speaks light. Into the chaos of fear, he speaks peace. Restoration also implies there was once wholeness. God remembers the version of you before life took its toll. He's not trying to make you into someone else. He's bringing you back to the person he originally intended. The one who knew peace, the one who walked in joy, the one who wasn't burdened by shame, fear, and regret. That version of you still exists in his heart, and he's committed to restoring it. The shepherd doesn't give up halfway. He's not satisfied with partial healing. He keeps working until the soul is whole again. Sometimes this restoration comes gently, through quiet time in his presence, through tears that finally fall, through a word that speaks directly to your heart. Other times it comes through correction, through breaking cycles, through pulling you out of unhealthy places and into new ones. Restoration isn't always comfortable, but it's always necessary. It's what prepares you for what's next. A restored soul is a soul ready for purpose. It's a soul that can carry weight without breaking. It's a soul that can love again, trust again, dream again. God doesn't do random repairs. He's intentional with every area he touches. He doesn't skip the hard parts. He doesn't overlook the messy corners. He gets down into the history, the patterns, the false beliefs, the hidden wounds. He restores at the root, so you can be free at the surface. And because he is the shepherd, he knows exactly what your soul needs and when you need it. There is no soul too shattered, no life too fragmented, no heart too damaged for the shepherd to restore. He is not intimidated by the weight of your story or the depth of your pain. Restoration is not a project for him. It's his nature. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. This is not a verse about avoiding hard times. It's a verse about what happens when you find yourself right in the middle of them. The valley is not a hypothetical. It's not an if. It's a when. Everyone at some point will walk through a valley. It may be grief, loss, betrayal, sickness, or seasons of deep confusion. The valley represents those moments in life where you can't see clearly, where the sun is hidden, where shadows fall long, and where danger seems to lurk around every corner. But here's the shocker. The shepherd leads you through it. That means the presence of a valley does not mean the absence of God. Just because you're going through something dark doesn't mean you're going in the wrong direction. Sometimes the path of righteousness includes valleys. It includes dips and shadows. It includes low places that test your faith, challenge your emotions, and push you to the edge of yourself. And still, he is with you. It says walk through the valley, not live in it. You're not meant to set up camp in the pain. You're not supposed to build a home in the heartache. You're walking asterisk through asterisk it, which means it's temporary. The valley has an exit, but you won't find the exit by panicking or running. You find it by following. The same shepherd who brought you to green pastures will also walk with you through the valley. He doesn't outsource the hard seasons. He doesn't send an angel in his place. He goes with you. His presence is not seasonal. His presence is constant. The verse calls it the shadow of death. Not death itself, but the shadow. A shadow has no substance. It can't harm you. It may look intimidating, but it's just the outline of something real, not the real thing itself. A shadow appears when there is a light source being blocked. So even in the valley, even in the darkest place, there has to be a light present in order for a shadow to exist. That means God's presence is still there, even when you can't see him clearly, even when the path is dim. The light hasn't left. It's just been obscured by the shape of the valley. And David says, I will fear no evil. That's not because evil doesn't exist. It's because the presence of God is greater than the threat of evil. Fear loses its grip when you become aware of who's walking with you. When you're a child and your father is by your side, you're not afraid of the dark alley. Not because the alley changed, but because you're not alone in it. Fear feeds on isolation, but faith grows in awareness, and David's awareness is focused not on the darkness, but on the shepherd. God's presence in the valley is not passive. He's not just observing, he's guiding, he's protecting. He's speaking. Sometimes it's in the valley where you hear him the clearest. The noise of the mountaintop is gone. The distractions of success and busyness are stripped away. And in the silence of the low place, his voice becomes unmistakable. Valleys have a way of tuning your ears, of anchoring your faith, of removing what's shallow so that what remains is unshakable. There's also something deeply personal that happens in this part of the psalm. Up until this point, David talks about God in the third person. He makes me lie down, he leads me. But now, in the valley, the language shifts. You are with me. The valley births intimacy. It changes how you talk to God. It's no longer about what he does at a distance. It's about who he is right beside you. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. This isn't just about provision. It's about positioning. God doesn't just feed you in private. He blesses you publicly, right in front of the very ones who thought you wouldn't make it. Right in front of the voices that criticized, the people who doubted, the circumstances that tried to break you. The table is not tucked away in a hidden room. It's set in the presence of opposition. God is not intimidated by your enemies. He uses them as the backdrop for your elevation. This kind of provision defies logic. It breaks patterns. You don't prepare a table in a battlefield. You run, you fight, you hide, but you don't feast. Yet that's exactly what the shepherd does. He flips the script. He brings a table into a territory where chaos once reigned. While your enemies watch, you eat. While others are fighting, you're being filled. It's not just about surviving the storm. It's about thriving in it. It's about finding nourishment in the very place the enemy thought would destroy you. The presence of God shifts the atmosphere, and what should be a war zone becomes a dining room. And notice, he prepares the table. You don't cook the meal, you don't set the plates, you don't organize the seating. Your only job is to sit down. That means the provision is already ready, the breakthrough is already cooked, the favor is already placed. You don't have to fight for the table, just stay close enough to the shepherd to be seated at it. You're not striving for blessing, you're receiving it. And the table isn't just survival food. It's not scraps. It's a full spread, a demonstration of abundance, of God's ability to provide even in the middle of pressure. There's power in understanding that your enemies are not removed before the blessing comes. That challenges our thinking. We want God to wipe the slate clean, to eliminate all adversity before the celebration. But God says, I'm going to let them watch. I'm going to let them see what I do with a life that stays surrendered. This isn't about revenge. It's about revelation. It's about God showing the undeniable evidence of his hand on you. When people see your peace in chaos, your strength in weakness, your hope in despair, they can't explain it. And that's the point. The table makes a statement. This one belongs to me. The presence of enemies doesn't cancel the promise. It confirms it. Every attack, every lie, every betrayal, they all become part of the testimony. The enemy thought you would be broken, but here you are, feasting. The enemy thought you'd give up, but here you are, stronger. The table becomes proof that God's purpose is still unfolding, that his favor is not dependent on your surroundings, but on your relationship with him. You're not blessed because life is easy. You're blessed because the shepherd is present, and this table, it's not rushed. It's not a quick bite on the run. It's a sit, down, slow meal. That means peace must be greater than pressure. That means you can breathe while surrounded. You can be still while under threat. You can focus on the shepherd, not the spectators. Your focus determines your experience. If you fix your eyes on the enemies, you'll miss the meal. But if you fix your eyes on the one who invited you, you'll eat in peace. The table also speaks to identity. Slaves don't sit at tables, sons and daughters do. God is affirming who you are by the way he treats you in front of those who thought you were disqualified. This is covenant language. He's not just feeding you, he's honoring you. He's restoring dignity. He's placing you in a position where others can see the reflection of his glory on your life. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. That's not a hope, not a wish, not a maybe, it's a guarantee. That word surely is a faith-filled declaration. It's bold, confident, unwavering. David is not guessing what will follow him, he knows. He's lived enough life, seen enough battles, walked through enough valleys, and encountered enough of God's character to make a statement with absolute certainty. Surely, without question, without doubt, goodness and mercy are not occasional visitors, they are permanent companions. This changes how you see your journey. Most people walk through life wondering what's around the next corner. Trouble, loss, disappointment. But David flips the narrative. He says, don't focus on what might attack, focus on what's guaranteed to stay. God's goodness and mercy are not just events. They're agents. They're not just emotions. They're assignments. They are actively pursuing you, covering your steps, and refusing to let you walk alone. When you understand that, fear starts to lose its grip. You stop chasing blessings and start walking in the awareness that blessings are chasing you. Goodness speaks to God's generosity, his kindness, his ability to turn things in your favor, even when it doesn't look favorable. Goodness shows up in the moments you didn't expect, in the details you didn't plan. It's that unexplainable favor that opens doors you didn't knock on, makes ways you didn't earn, and delivers peace in the middle of the storm. And it's not based on your perfection, it's based on his nature. God is good, and he can't help but do good to those who are his. Mercy, on the other hand, is the covering of your past. Mercy is what steps in when you've messed up, when you've fallen short, when you've said the wrong thing, made the wrong turn, or walked in rebellion. Mercy says, I've seen what you did, but I'm not letting that define you. Mercy keeps judgment at bay. Mercy restores when condemnation tries to crush. Mercy rewrites the story when failure tries to finish it. And David says that both goodness and mercy are not taking turns. They're coming asterisk together asterisk. This isn't about seasons. This is about asterisk, all asterisk, the days of your life. That means the good days and the bad ones. The days when you feel full of faith and the ones when doubt tries to take over. The days when you're walking in purpose and the days when you're limping in pain. Goodness and mercy don't clock out. They don't take breaks. They don't vanish when life gets rough. They follow constantly, quietly, faithfully. And the word follow in the original language is stronger than our English interpretation. It doesn't mean to trail behind at a distance. It means to pursue, to chase down, to overtake. That means you can try to outrun them, but they won't stop. Even when you turn the wrong way, goodness and mercy are still chasing. Even when you get off track, they don't lose sight of you. You're never so far gone that God's love can't catch up. His pursuit is relentless, not because he needs you, but because he wants you. When you know that goodness and mercy are always behind you, you start walking differently. You stop looking over your shoulder in fear and start walking forward in faith. You stop expecting the worst and start anticipating the best. Your posture changes, your pace changes, because you know You're not just walking asterisk toward asterisk something. You're being followed by something powerful, not by shame, not by guilt, not by fear, but by the unshakable, unchanging goodness and mercy of a faithful God.